back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Carmageddon Reincarnation is out for public beta, but don't expect that Linux port until the end of 2013. Kung Fu Goes 2.Z. Tons of fixes, but it still lacks Gopher Chucks, and Dying Light received another update. That's right, but it does fucking all for the Linux performance issues.
Flying to Playdate wants to help you with your game. It's like Tinder for nerds who shouldn't be on Tinder. Should Canonical and Red Hat be paying people to port games? No. Just no. And OpenMW ditches DirectX, and we're thankful for the lost weight.
Fluid Jibaibo ported Blade to Linux in a week, and now I know who to blame for glibcos. Feral teases something that should not be, and we throw our guesses in the hat. Hail Java! Because that's always a good language to code your game in.
Abomination Tower releases on Steam. Wait, what? This isn't a sequel to Super Meat Boy? Ugh. Epic tosses coins at starting developers. I have an idea for a game. How about a Super Meat Boy clone? OpenMW gets a her 0.35 release. Fixed mod support and drowning NPCs? Fuck yeah.
I'm Vince Stone here at LGC Actual, joined by one of our tamed Canadian podcasters, Masses Fag.
You'll never tame me!
And all the way from space, Portugal.
Hello!
Pedro Martinez and the Sandman, also from Canada with his new fancy microphone. And together with Shat
Not so
Realm,
tame.
dynamic, live, we form a bit of a cocaine Voltron. It's lovely on Tuesdays. Trust me. Before we get started and get into the news organs, what have you been up to this week, gentlemen? P-Man.
Yeah, so I was helping Nori clear out her grandma's house so we can throw her birthday party there, and I found a little something. A very, very old, monolith-like computer.
Oh my god, a
Still have
giant
no
rock!
idea. I have literally no idea what this thing is in terms of make, model, specifications, anything. It's old, man. It's really, really old.
Oh, what's up, Jelly Baby?
Oh, I finally took the plunge and threw Fedora 21 on this computer right here. So far, everything's working.
Thanks. Sandman.
A lot of Starbound. I've been playing a lot of Starbound and updating a bunch of really cool mods to the latest update. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Over here, not a whole lot. Started some new TV series, mainly Better Call Saul. Got about halfway through that first episode, and I was like, yeah, we're going to be watching those next two in order. So I've kind of slammed against, damn, no, I have to wait until Monday, or whenever that Moon Organ comes out. I did order, and I was hoping to have it for display, that $60 fucking wet, stinky Windows 8-inch, I think it's 8-inch or 7-inch tablet.
Yeah.
It has a quad-core x86 processor in it. Not because I want to do anything with it other than wait and hope that we get Linux running on it. But if I didn't buy it, I would be genuinely pissed, 2 months from now, and they're like, oh yeah, and it's completely out of stock. Fuck you, that's why. But what's the horse up to this week, baby?
The horse is lonely. No one wants to spend time with it, so it's resorted to looking for love online. It's our Steelix
Update
Look at this nightmare.
But yeah, so you're an antisocial nerd, right? You don't have any friends to play all these awesome multiplayer games you picked up on
Like you know me.
Steep holiday sales. And I mean, no one else is running Linux in your neighborhood, so you need someone to game with. Find-Playdate.com wants to help you out because you can post personals for games you want to play. You can say what you want to play when. I'm actually a bit surprised there aren't a lot more obscure games up on here. It seems to be all like Dota 2 and Left 4 Dead and Dark Souls and Gauntlet. When's that supposed? Wasn't that supposed to be out in January? Where's our Linux version of that?
Yeah, no shit.
Has anybody tried this business out?
No.
I like playing multiplayer games with people I actually know. Randos are a bit weird, but if you don't have someone to play with, this seems like a great service.
What about you, people?
Well,
Yeah.
all things considered, I'm not that big of a multiplayer fan. I can enjoy a good multiplayer game as much as the next man, but my top 3 all-time games, top 3 favorite all-time games, all of them are single player, and number 4 was the one I really enjoyed because of the multiplayer, which was Neverwinter Nights. So I don't know. I guess
Do you really want to get a taste of this online stranger danger?
No.
Come
And
on.
it's so funny because it even looks like the community right now. Like, I'm assuming this is very, very new because if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of the same guy on there. And he's like wanting to play all these games.
Yeah, he wants to
so
play
no one
all
wants
the
to fucking
games.
spend time with him. All right, that's your red flag right there. How many
Yeah,
listings have they
exactly.
posted?
All right, well, let's take a look at all these beautiful, beautiful dying light fixes. 1.4.z patch notes. Let's just screech all the way down here. Linux specific improvements. Fixed motion blur switching via main. That's brilliant. We've talked about that's not an issue. Fixed messaging, playing with all that. Known issues. Screen flick. All right, you know what? How about fixing that issue where it still doesn't run over 30 frames per second on a 980 using Linux? Maybe throw like 60 what stinky caches, Brad? Come on.
Did
They're still working on
fix
radio
the-
support, so there's that.
Yeah.
Did they actually
One of the
ever get to
they're
fix
one of the
that
dozens
bit that
of
made it-
AMD users on Linux.
Did they actually ever fix the thing that made it start in only one core?
You know, P-Man, at this point, I don't fucking care. I just assume that
Yeah.
money's gone, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
were
they're still
talking
not getting my money on this
a
one.
little bit before the show. One thing we were talking about was they still haven't released that Mac port because I guess the Mac people, being a larger percentage, unfortunately, but the Witness Face Reality organ here would bitch and moan if their new MacBook Pro YOLO Extreme, they spent $2,000 on, didn't. It was like 30 frames a second. Damn you, Steve Jobs, and all that. Sandman,
Zombies.
what's
They
your
dig him up from the
experience?
grave. They actually dig him out of his grave and they start shaking him. Damn you, Steve
Are you
Jobs.
still playing this
fuck."
nightmare fuel of a game, or trying to, I should say?
Well, exactly. Like, I can barely run it. Like, it uses up 99% of my one core, and it still runs at, like, on my 6770, like, it still runs at, like, 4 frames a second. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Optimized, yeah. I still got to upgrade the video card, but, that's my doing right there. But, like, still, come on. I want to at least get 30. You know
Tell
what I
me
mean?
about this nightmare.
Lords of the Night, Chainsaw Warrior. So this is another game from Games Workshop, and I'm glad that all their tie-in games have Linux support now. I just kind of wish they wouldn't suck. So this is a video game version of a single player board game that takes about half an hour to play in meat space time. I don't know how long it takes for like a round of this game. It's $6. So I mean, it's the no
You're
weird
not breaking the
FMOD
bank.
compatible sound card. Ooh, that's a hefty requirement. I don't know. Sandy, you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, like, the big thing is, like, they have made it out to be like a board game. Like, something like this should be on, like, something like multi-touch tables. You know what I mean? Like, something where you have that board game sort of interaction. And then, because for realsies, people, if you make a game that has some touch capabilities, like, why not have SteamOS have touch capabilities? Then you can have SteamOS on a touch table, and then you can play with your buddies. You know what I mean?
But Sandy,
Like, it's-
Sandy, it's a single player game, yo.
Oh. Shit.
And single player board game.
We'll
from
make
the
it
people who
multiplayer.
brought you-
No,
Why is a board game a single player? That's what I'm asking.
Because you don't have any friends like people
Sorting
who play
your
Sword
daughter.
Daughter.
Yes, the slideshow daughter,
It's
as
no
the
gun
case may
sword.
be. So, it is a choose-your-own-adventure type game on your PC. Yep, Jordan's got it right there. It's being developed, or was developed by Hanabira. I have no idea how to pronounce that properly. But yeah, they...
Harakiri?
They literally say it's choose a path to adventure. Will you sneak into the dragon's lair or challenge the beast openly? So you get an idea. You have this epic concept, and you get to pick and choose from 3 or 4 different choices and have the dialogue and all the action play out without your input.
It kind of reminds me of that robot mech shooter choose your own adventure game. But you got to dig these system requirements because you need an x86 or compatible operating system.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think that's a little more obscure than the glib COS.
Not really, Brad, because
Yes.
I'm still rocking my Transmeta CPU.
Yeah. I got a couple Cyrex boxes poking around somewhere. I'll pull those out.
88% compatible.
Yeah, I'm
does it
gonna
say?
dig in there. But it's so funny. Like I was looking at the screenshots, and some of the wording that they use in the screenshots is like caravaner. I'm like, isn't a caravaner a nomad? I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I look at the last screenshot, and it's like he catches you up quickly. I'm like, what? You might not want that as like a sales.
Spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good. Even at what is it, $7?
$6.99 run.
Yeah,
I-
I'm gonna say give this one a pass.
All right, back to Kung
You
Fu
can buy like a
fighting.
choose your own adventure book at a used
Check
bookstore
this
for like
business out.
$2.
Now, this is a patch for Kings of Kung Fu. They were kind enough to send us some early access business. And they have a couple of patches here. Never heard of it, which you may not. It's kind of like a 70s Kung Fu exploitation type. It looks really good in theory. Execution is still in early access. But right now it's $3.99, so if you're thinking about picking it up, maybe you want to pick up some of that business. But they fixed the sensitivity with the directional control issues, so gotta say stoic directional control issues or just devastated by that. And they slowed the game speed down just a bit, which is good because it was kind of fuck you, because that's why. But the one
Oh
thing
yeah, no, the practice
I
mode.
did
is
notice was they've
like weapon.
kind of set up edited control responsiveness, moves less delayed. So like when you hit 2 keys to try to do something like, oh, I don't know, advanced, like throw a person, you now have at least a 1 in 7 chance of that working. I thought it was kind of nice.
But so you bring up controls. One interesting point is that it forces you to use the analog sticks
You'll not
for a
love the
combo-focused
Mario.
fighting game, which is totally what you want to do when you want to say up, down, left, right, B, A, start, select, combo, whatever. And you hit down, but you're a little off to the left, so it's actually a left, and your combo gets fucked up. Yeah.
Well, the days
that's
of
what I-
Super Nintendo are over, Jordan. Like, if you go to an arcade, what do you think they have? An analog stick at an arcade. That's what they do to do all the combos for like King of the Fighters. That's
For
pro
King
level,
of,
son.
King of the Fighters.
King
Yeah.
of the Fighters,
Of
son.
the fighters.
Yeah, and it sucks. I want a D-pad.
What a D-pad.
Yeah, I don't get the whole deal behind people who play fighting games and the fight sticks. Yeah, just, there's a really nice D-pad on this thing. Fucking use it.
All right, let's quit talking about the D.
Let's talk
start
about
talking
the
about
me.
With the Super
about the
Meat
T?
Boy clone.
The
I
T.
mean, yeah. Abomination Tower. Abomination
Jesus
Tower.
Christ! How many fonts is this ripping off in the logo?
Oh, I know. Like, I see a little bit of
What is it,
Some
Sandy?
Minecraft.
Isaac. It's basically a side scroller, but it's procedurally generated platforming. So like each level is procedurally generated as you go through, and you're like this headless corpse, and you can pick up heads that can give you certain abilities. Yeah.
My plagiarism sense is tingling. Something looks very familiar about. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Right. Okay. We know who he's ripping off. Okay, I'm good.
Everyone, and I'm so. What part of the thing about like good platforming is you need to have intelligently designed levels,
Right.
and when you're
Right.
procedurally generating levels for a platformer, you're gonna get some stupid shit.
No, man, that way we can do it and call it a fuck you hard game because it's just randomly throwing shit everywhere.
YouTuber bait.
As soon as I read that, Yeah, and it's still clicking in at 4.99 wet stinky caches. Yeah, don't know. Sandy, do you want to?
I'm gonna have to because I do like platformers. So
Does it have controller
and plus
support?
it's got achievements.
Ah, full controller
wait,
support.
yes,
All
it
right,
does.
all right.
Full controller
It
support.
says so.
So
anyway.
yes. And see now, because all the levels are procedurally generated, how can you post stats for levels that are procedurally generated?
How
doesn't
do you
make
practice like hard areas? That's one of the points about like these super hard platformers is you need to like devote hours to like getting stretches done.
Yeah, but like even then, it's got to go off of a comparison. So say like you beat level 2 at a certain. Okay.
Sandy, you're putting way more thought into it than the developer did.
Bleed for me.
Yes, Mr. Flippity Jibaibo on Google Plus said that, Bleed's done. I'm still working on this big, major new project, so here's a little tiny port that I finished in a week. And I was looking at the video, that one that Ben's showing you right there, and I'm like, all right, you ported that in a week? Sweet. And then I scroll down to the bottom of the page, and I find the very elusive OS glibc 2.15 plus, comma, 32 slash 64-bit.
S3TC.
Yeah,
so
you
that's
don't
good.
need to patch the glibc 2.15 kernel.
Yes, you don't. You don't even need the S3 texture compression OS, whatever that is. But hey, now I know who to blame.
You don't understand, man. FNA is so advanced; it's its own operating system now. It's like a virtual machine that you make
But yeah.
games in.
So what
This
is it?
is
Never heard of it.
it's your average 2D. It's got the slow motion Max Payne type thing going on, but it's very much a 2D platformer bullet hell type thing. So if that's your cup of tea, pick it up. You know the controller is going to work because it is Flippity Jibaibo, and he uses SDL2 for just about everything.
It's only
that he
like
can.
$5 for the game. It looks like so can't be too bad.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
and I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I'm absolutely gonna pick
and
this
it's
up.
pretty cheap, all things considered.
I would hold up because I have an inkling it's going to show up on like some humble bundle in like the next couple of months.
True, it might, but
Oh,
even when you're thinking
bravo.
about platformers and flibbity jibbity ibbity bitty bit by bo, you know the controller organ is going to work out of the box.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
you know your light
Uses
bar or whatever
SDL2 for
obscure
everything, so.
controller feature you have will work.
Yep.
All right.
Doesn't matter what you have, it'll work.
Coming up next.
That's
If
the
you have that
horse.
old GameCube Waveburn controller with like the
Oh
fucking
my god.
keyboard, with like the full QWERTY keyboard, that will work.
The Game Shark controller.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right. Now, while Sandy is recovering his composure, coming up next, Pedro gets a $1.50. How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the LGC Linuxy news coming your way. And this week, while not technically drivers, we are talking about Nvidia and their latest cock-up.
Someone
the
gonna get
GTX
sued. That's
970.
right.
Yes.
A lawyer has served papers to Nvidia and Gigabyte, claiming false advertising over this whole GTX 970 debacle. So Pedro can, mind you, Pedro did mention while we were talking about this before we started filming, this only currently affects people in the US. Maybe someday in the far distant future, he will get his $15.
Eventually, yes. It's still up for the grand jury
Enjoy
to
your
decide
happy
whether
meal,
or
Pedro.
not. It's still up for the grand jury to decide whether or not this suit will become a class action lawsuit. Nvidia refused comment to PC World, so we're kind of hoping to see what the grand jury will decide. If they do decide to make this a class action lawsuit, I'm not sure, I'll have to check. I think I can add my name to the class action lawsuit and maybe get some sort of compensation.
Well,
I don't
if
know.
you want to talk
You
about
gotta have
compensation, something that is, didn't have time to pull up the story, but there are people who are out there saying that both Newegg and Amazon are offering, once you talk to the customer support critters, up to 20% of your purchase price, which is, I'm guessing, their cut of the deal of what they made off you.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of like, I'll give this back to you. Sandy, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of proper advertising. Like, see, now with guys like Newegg, obviously, yeah, they'll give back the money that they made from it, but at that point, like, see, and then they could probably go after. How much you want to bet that Newegg guys like that will probably go after Nvidia and see?
Well, the biggest thing about something like that is I can see like a few individual people getting that little deal, but once you've told the internet, everyone's going to go whoom, and they're like, all right, never happened.
Yeah, this never happened.
Okay.
So, yes, Feral wants us to guess what their newest port is going to be.
Okay,
and their latest clue...
Feral, I just want to say something to you. Don't put Dirt 3 up there.
Yeah, that's just fucking... that's just fucking with people at that point. But I really want that game, Feral. Get on it. Linux, now.
Well,
but yeah, they posted
they give us some sheet music to Springtime for Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. It's actually that thing... what was it called? The Thing That Should Not Be from Metallica. And joining that particular clue with the photo of the pub that Tolkien used to frequent and Scorched Earth that they have on their little radar thing at the Feral website. All of this and the fact that they are teasing a game that is only available for Windows at the moment. If that's not spelling Shadow of Mordor, I'm be very angry.
But we already knew this. They have said from the outset, we are bringing Shadow of Mordor to the Steamos.
Well, it better be Shadows of Mordor, or at least, a Masters of the Universe MMO.
Listen, man, Hello Kitty Island Adventure proper native Linux port, or get the fuck out.
I don't know. I mean, I think this marketing idea came from Aspire. When there's like, go guess our game, and here's a clue, and here's a clue, and bees! I genuinely don't think there's ever been an NDA composed. Now, correct me if I'm right. Probably somebody's like, man, you understand this one? Okay, could be completely wrong. That would prevent you from saying, we're working on this, and, get excited about it. This is a guess.
This is the hype machine.
Yeah, get the
This is the hype machine.
Spool up the hype drive to 20 on it. And it's going to work for the first time. It's going to work for the second time. The third and fourth and fifth incarnation of this marketing, you're going to, and it was like, you know what? Off. Just tell us what you're porting.
Yep.
That's exactly down the road you're heading. So, tell me something epic, Sandman.
Free money!
Well, about as epic as Epic Games, they are launching an Unreal Dev Grant for, obviously, developers out there who want to make games on Unreal 4. Wow, that was so hard to come out with. But the big thing is that they put up $5 million fund for this whole for these grants, and you can ranging between $5,000 and $50,000, depending on how much of the Unreal Engine you're using, and they have and so they have the form for the whole grant on that single blog, so you can download the form, fill it out,
the link to which is in our show notes.
Right,
which is also in the show notes.
They have a link
well.
here. You can get the information and all this business. And one thing that's really fantastic about this is no strings, nothing. If they give you this money, it's yours, not yours.
Hookers and blow.
They don't take a cut or anything like that. I like how Mr. Mango said in the forums, which is also true because too many Unity games. But they do want to get some just good love going on that. But how about they throw that money at something else, J-Man?
Yeah, no, literally, I remember reading this on the toilet on Friday or something. Literally, the first Reddit comment is, that's great, why don't you take some of that money and throw it towards a proper Linux editor? Because all they have now is the community built, which works,
great.
But
the whole thing is great that they're only giving out the grants to people who actually have a working prototype. Good on them. They're doing it right. But I'm still waiting for a finished game to showcase UE4 running on Linux.
Well, you're not
It
going to
hasn't
see
happened.
that until at least like August. I mean, the engine is just too new.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
Let's just gloss over this. Tell me about it. Never heard of it.
Okay, so basically this guy, Shane Fagan, he's some Ubuntu dev somewhere, and he comes up with the brilliant freaking idea that maybe Canonical and Red Hat should start loaning out money to port Linux games. Because, you know, two companies rooted in enterprise Linux totally want to break into that ultra lucrative Linux gaming market. I mean, we're just rolling in that money.
Well,
Listen-
one can make the argument that Canonical is actually, you know, catering to the end user.
Canonical is trying and spending millions of dollars of other
They're
people's
actually
money
going for
to
the
be
cloud
Apple.
thing. Yeah.
That's ultimately what they're doing. But we actually need, and paying money to port games is a band-aid solution at best. What we actually need is game developers start writing games on Linux. We need to start having game dev classes teaching you Unreal Engine on Linux. We need people who actually know how to write programs for the operating system to create these games, or else you get The Witcher 2.
But it's C and it's POSIX compliant in case it's... No! Sandy, what are your thoughts?
but also to add on to that, like the big thing is that you need editors on Linux running on Linux, and that's
Like
another
VI?
thing that, like UE4, we need an editor on Linux.
Or Nano.
And
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know. You know, this guy, Ubuntu developer, but basically this dude's a fuck all nobody. I'm not knocking the guy, but I don't know. It just reeks of somebody wanting to drive traffic to their blog organ.
It's
never
not
heard
a
of it before.
good idea, and that article is just painful to read. Ugh.
Because grammar.
Yeah.
Public
Grammar.
beta launches, finally. Carmageddon Reincarnation, the first Kickstarter game
Oh my
project
god!
that I backed is
Me too.
finally out in public beta. This is brilliant. This is what we've been waiting on, because we were told point blank that once the public beta is out and it's finalized, then they'll start working on the Mac and Linux ports, which, to quote, were expected to ship at the end of 2013.
Remember when that happened? That was great.
Yeah. Love that business. Yay. The first comment on this business down here. Let me see if I can find the right damn screen. Well, now it's the third. Yay. 2 years after supposed release date, a beta comes out.
And
This just really harkens back. I mean, 625,000 wet stinkies out of a 400,000 wet stinky goal. This is running, at least a year late. And, I'm guessing maybe if we do get this when the first bit of code is started for the Linux and Mac ports, maybe late 2017-ish. I don't know. What do you think, Sandman?
see, what's even bad about it too was that they were selling like Steam keys, like early access on Steam before.
No,
any
Sandy.
of
The
you guys-
first order of business was after this was finalized, they made the mobile app to get more money.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yep, that's what they used their first influx of Kickstarter money for, was to make, let's put this on iOS and Android. Yeah.
Well, how does it make you feel that they literally took the Linux and Mac money for the port and used it to make T-shirts that they could sell through their web store?
Well,
You know?
Sandy, to answer your question, the very first comment on that Kickstarter update is my answer to you. I know they don't fucking do it, but I freaking goddamn want a refund.
Yeah.
Tim's
Well,
turd.
and again, there are other comments on the Kickstarter page basically saying this is what happens when you don't develop your program to be cross-platform from the get-go, and producing a Linux or a Mac build is just a compiler option as opposed to an entire fucking project.
Yeah.
But the real
That
question,
they promised
of course,
they would
is
do.
how does this affect my over/under with Skullgirls? Because I got $50 riding on that.
Little column A, little column B, but check this business out from our favorite psychopaths.
Yes.
The insanity, it continues.
Yes.
It doesn't stop.
I love it. I love it. Open Morrowind has finally released 0.35. Version 3.5 is finally released, and like they have a slew of fixes on this one. Like it is crazy. So like compatibility with mods, like NPCs function with AI, like
the big one that I thought was cool was they have a save game importer now, so that you can take your Morrowind games and zap them in, so you don't have to make a new character. And it's nice because you can go and derp around Tamriel. You can also drown NPCs in an inch of water, just like infants. So that's always a new bonus.
Babies. Which, like, I love Open Morrowind. I love Morrowind. Everybody loves Morrowind. Morrowind was a great game.
Say Morrowind one more time.
Morrowind.
Sandy? Sandy. I got some bad news for him.
What happened?
No more onions.
Oh, that's right.
It's open scene graph.
So the short version is, due to the fact that the current version of Ogre kinda sucks, and
I wonder who just woke up from that stupor. Is like, whoa, this is a nightmare.
Euphamizing the shit
hell
out of
am I
that
doing?
sentence.
There's some features in the newer version of Ogre that these guys want to make use of, but unfortunately, Ogre dropped support for OpenGL 2.1, which, believe it or not, is actually is kind of a big deal because that's sort of the least common denominator for most OpenGL stuff. So, they've also noted that a lot of the performance issues they're having come from DirectX. So they decided they're switching to Open Scene Graph and just completely nixing their DirectX backends. Just going full OpenGL. Open Scene Graph gives them comparable functionality to Ogre 2.1 or whatever the fucking new version of Ogre is, and allows them to get their job done a lot easier and a lot with more, easier. I don't know what else to say. They do mention, and it makes me smile, that Valve has shown that a proper OpenGL renderer can be just as fast as a DirectX one, or even faster.
True. And just getting off the ogres, or the onions and the parfait, whatever you want to call ogre, is my experience for years now. Has been, this requires Ogre and you're going to build the source, but it requires the version that I guarantee you do not have fucking installed. I'm like, okay,
Nope.
That's going to be a problem because you have the depreciated version. It's like, but if you want to build Ogre, build all these things too, and make sure they're all version matched and all that, then maybe, just maybe,
It's dependency hell.
it'll crash near the end of the compile.
No, you can't say that kind of stuff, Ben. You can't say that.
Yeah. They actually mentioned in their announcement post that maybe OpenMW would not be able to run on the same hardware that originally ran the vanilla Morrowind. So I think it would be nice to have OpenMW running on that very same hardware, but I'm not going to mourn loss over a 10-year-old or 12-year-old
Windows XP.
1 point something.
All right, moving on. Hail Santa.
Hail Java in this case. Yes, This is a turn-based RPG built in Java, obviously, with full character customization and a very tactical combat, which will allow you to visit a variety of locales. The entire system, they say, is built to be moddable from the ground up. Now, that's great, but as soon as I started the game, I'm like, oh, there's a tutorial. Let's play that. The tutorial script for the quest crashed. And the thing that I was supposed to kill did not trigger, which means it didn't show up, means I couldn't finish the tutorial. I had to physically stop myself from loading up Eclipse and fixing their shit. No.
Crashy is a word you could use to describe this game. I ran into the same issue with the tutorial, so I decided, let's just dive into it. Try to talk to an NPC, crash. Brilliant. Love it. Awesome stuff. I mean, gameplay-wise, it's your standard isometric hex game.
It is. It's priced to sell it free in open source. So.
It looks like a game from like the DOS ages. It really does.
Westnoth. Sick Westnoth clone, brah. Like,
That's
yeah,
not the
and I had the
strategy.
they put the triggers too high up in the processing. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, put it lower. Like, because you can't have a lot of these triggers activate before you attack. Like, yeah, because if you look at that line of code, that trigger is before like the attack. So it's like,
what, like SQL triggers?
yeah.
What?
All I'm hearing is I have to install a Java runtime environment in
Yeah.
2015. No.
Yeah.
OpenJDK is actually acceptable.
Welcome to my 9 to 5 then.
Roll me some D20s, baby.
Oh, it's all about the criticals. Okay, so there are a whole whack of handy dandy Dungeons and Dragons tools on the Interblags to help you with your character creation and your game management and all sorts of crap that you could just fucking look in your goddamn game book and find out. But apparently people are too lazy to do that. So they go develop tools that are all handy and people like and people use. And then periodically Wizards of the Coast says, hey man, remember when we said we're going to have full comprehensive suite of online tools? Well, we kind of have one now, so we're sending about a bunch of cease and desists to nix this. And one of the guys who got nixed was Path Guy. And he had a NPC generator, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
he made a whole bunch of them.
yeah.
I mean, he's been doing it forever. I mean, the site has been there since Genesis almost.
Yeah.
Since there was an internet for people to bitch about D&D on, so
Yeah, and Wizards of the Coast like came in with their like lawyers and they're like, yeah, you need to cease and desist right now. And like the big thing is like he has done a great job. Like he's done a number of them, even pre-Pathfinder. Like I'm pretty sure he did 3rd edition, and I think he did 1 2nd edition. I'm pretty sure of it. And like, I'm surprised that Wizards of the Coast didn't just buy him out.
No,
Brian.
They let it rock and roll until they developed their own system, put it behind a paywall, and went 1 billion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dungeonscape is a fantastic application.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, it sucks that this thing's down. Sandy and I are both a bunch of grognards, so we're into this crap. Ben's not quite, but we'll fix that one day.
Yeah, someday.
So I guess it's hats off to Path Guy. Coming up next, we give hands off to Hands of Fate.
And the
See how that
Masters
goes.
is not pleased.
And let's give a hand to Hand of Fate, which faces the CHAIRQUISITION. So, will our good friend up there, I'm just going to call Torgo because he kind of looks like Torgo. Will he survive this ever increasing? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is basically a deck building roguelike built on the Unity engine with some 3D combat mixed into it. It'll set you back 25 wet stinky bucks or 23 wet stinky euros, and it's by Defined Developments. You can what is it? Deck building comes to life in Hand of Fate. Infinite replayability, series of quests, earn new cards, build your deck, and try to defeat it in a cabin at the end of the world. The game of life and death is play. Draw your hands. Or draw your cards, play your hands, and it's time to CHAIRQUISITION. 1 chair means that it's crap, 2 chairs means that it's meh, 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, 4 chairs means that it's amazing. Of course, we have our categories, do, mix with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off. Let's give this hand a job. Then did it make with the working?
Over here on the Ubuntu 1404 LTS, 980 4K displayed, octa-core, box of business. It ran basically without issue at first. Now you're wondering, how does it run at the 3840 by 2160 with everything on YOLO? Getting roughly 30 and 35 FERPs on that business. 60 plus at
Unity.
1080. Yep, Unity, ladies and gentlemen. Not enough to ding at a chair, and I'll get into that a bit later in the Shiny and Sounds, is the resolution. You have to set that, because it'll tell you whatever you're currently running at and just lie to you until you actually hit it, and it adjusts. Not enough to ding it a chair, so I'll give that business 4 chairs, J-Man.
Yeah, no issue on my now Fedora 21 powered AMD 1090T Nvidia 670 superclocked box. Runs at about 40 to 58 frames a second at 1080p with everything maxed out. So I'm going to give that 4 chairs. It works.
Yeah, and on the Amiga with the FX 8370E and the GTX 970 Strix, it actually ran decently enough. I had this whole rant. I was going to say, holy shit, a Unity game that runs like 60 FERPs at 1080p with everything on 11? Someone figured their Unity games out, but no. On the later levels with like 16 enemies on screen at one point, FERPs count comes down to around 40. But still, that's reasonable for a Unity game, so I'm going to give it 4 chairs.
Oh yeah, Sandy.
He's muted.
Yes, he is.
No, he's speaking at like a very high pitch. Like the dogs in the room are just going nuts. Let's play the dub game. What is Sandy actually saying?
Okay, like for some reason, Pulse Audio decided to switch my mic off.
Welcome to Linux,
So-
Sandy.
For some reason.
On my Ubuntu 1404 64-bit octa-core 8350 with a 6670 or 6770 HD, it was running fine. Like I would get about 38 to 39 frames per second on average, like with textures on high, it like stabilized there. But the transitioning between combat and the card table, it would drop down to like 10 to 15 frames per second. And then when it would come back, I would get the odd shot up to 60 frames at the card table scenes. So like, I'm going to give it 3 chairs.
Well, it's a Unity game. I mean, those transitions between card game and combat are literally like a black screen that just kills your frame rate. That's super hard to render. But that's 3 chairs from Makes the Working. Shiny and Sounds is next. Ven, were you tickled in your various eye holes and face holes and whatnot?
At first, absolutely not. But this is where we get to our resolution. The first 2 or 3 days I'm playing this, and thanks for the lot, they sent us early access keys billions of years ago in the future's past.
Yep.
And it's finally out. Then Pedro had this thing where he's like, guys, it's out of early access and we should, then immediately followed, should have checked the show notes. I was like, yes, you should.
Yep.
All right. I'm playing it at 4K, looking at it, and it looks like jarred ass, which is, if you ever seen the guy sit on the, it's nasty. And this is horrible. Why were you just stretching, 1080p and all that? But I'm reading about it, and it's like, oh, by the way, make sure you change your resolution, not from what it says, but to something lower, then change it back, or it just doesn't fucking work. Finally got all that business sorted, looking a bit better, all right. And kids, don't do Fox mocap. It makes things look cheap, unless you have a motion capture studio. To do that slow motion, kill, I don't care, or a really talented animation rigger. Don't. This didn't have either of those. And, alright, the brawler areas, they look fair enough. And the card, the dude with the hands, the cards and all that, that's brilliant. Love it. Looks nice. And, well, when it comes to the sounds, yeah, they're there. Whack, whack, whack. I almost wanted to give it an extra chair, but I'm not. But you are able to get rid of the dealer's audio. And I hear people saying, well, I love the random interjection of voiceover that really doesn't add anything to anything. Maybe the atmosphere. So for Shiny and Sounds, I'm going to give this 2 chairs.
Yeah, it is certainly a Unity game. The graphics seem a little dated, and the faces are just, you get up close and it's like, I don't know, Mickey Rooney from any recent movie. The sounds are there. They don't really add much to it. The narrator guy, I will say, does a very good job of being like the dungeon master tarot fate dealer thing. He certainly he does a good job in terms of voice acting and whatnot, and I think it's a nice little touch it adds to the game. Though some of the things he says don't really make any sense. Oh, the cards are memories crafted from you. What? I just don't even. Yeah, definitely the writing could use some work. And I mean, like everything just looks kind of average for a 3D game, especially in 2015. So I just got to give it 2 chairs. Average score for an average game.
My basic opinion with this one is damn good audiovisual presentation. Now, to qualify that, I have to say that, yes, the graphics have all the markings of a Unity game, including the random shadow flickering that happens if you disable depth of field, which I have to because astigmatism. Yeah. But the way everything's presented and how the game's mechanics and lore are introduced are very well done, and much like Jordan said, and apparently Ven didn't agree, is awesome job on the narrator / evil wizard / card dealer guy. At least audio-wise. They did a good job covering his face so that they wouldn't fuck up the lip syncing. So for me, I'm going to give it 3 chairs.
I absolutely agree with Jordan and Pedro. Like, with the voice acting, it's solid. Like, it is still a Unity game, so I didn't go in expecting anything amazing here. Like, I knew the visuals were going to be like subpar, animation was going to be subpar. I really enjoyed the music. Music was really well done. I enjoyed that. But you have to if you're using Unity, really. And I like the cinematics for how the boss fights were set up, how it would like specifically pan the camera from where your character was over to the boss, so that way, like, even if you did have a larger level, you knew where to go to find the guy, even though the boss is huge, but whatever. But so I'm gonna give it 3 chairs.
3. All right, so that averages out to 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Control is next. Then, did you feel like you were shuffling cards, or was this all fluid butter sauce?
I'm going to say this to you, Brad, and you better listen to me very carefully.
I refuse.
Hard as you fucking can. You got the balls to show. Press ya to continue. I'm going to use this thing. Don't like to. It's always nasty business, but I will. And that's what you did. So, let's start with this. How do we control movement? Well, sometimes it's with your D-pad. Sometimes it's over here. Who knows? So good. Move. And I'm just talking about moving the card. Because that's what you're first introduced to. And pummeled over. I was like, God, is there something in this game? I almost did not complete this review. And I was like, wait, there's fighting in it? Okay. We'll put up with this, Finn. And every time it starts, okay, just because fuck you, that's my reason. You get 1 second, almost 2 seconds before you can actually, because it's like, yes, you can hit A and
that's
jump to the
car
next
dealer
card.
speaking, Ven.
Right. And if you want to move back, forward, left, right, you just got to wait for it. I don't care if it's a card dealer speaking. Why can't I move a fucking card when he's talking? Physics. All right. The fighting works out. It's a bit sloppy, but that's not going to fuck with you too bad because the AI and the enemies and the bosses are pants on head retarded. It's not a deal breaker. So, middle of the road, 2 chairs for this business.
I would say it's standard action game fare. You got your block, you got your special attack, you got your magic sauce, you got the reverse corner counter thing, whatever. And you can tuck and roll just like any good secret agent man. Torgo does kind of move a bit sluggishly, and I don't know, I didn't run into that thing with like the D-pad versus analog stick. It was just all analog stick for me, so I don't know. Maybe it's the Moon controller is failing. Who knows? So I'll give it 3 chairs.
Yeah, it claims full controller support, but it takes a very special kind of developer to achieve that with a Unity game.
Someone who uses SDL?
Someone that uses SDL, yes. Which, lo and behold, there are not a whole lot of developers doing it. But yeah, using the Xbox DRV, I was able to get the DualShock, which is currently plugged all the way over there into the Steam machine. I was actually able to get the DualShock 2 to control the game with reasonable success. I still couldn't have been arsed to waste about an hour of my life trying to set the Nvidia Shield controller to figure out all the input mappings to set Xbox DRV to do it. Someone really needs to automate that, please. Please. So for me, it gets 2 chairs.
I found I had 0 issues using my Logitech F710, and like I switched it between the X input, which is the Xbox control settings, and the direct input, which is usually like any direct USB input. And I found like the controls were pretty much the same on all settings, like between both those settings. So I almost figured that they were using that controller, like that controller scheme, or at least the other Logitech, the F310. And because, yeah, it was seamless switching. Like there was 0 issues. I had 0, mind you, like it can't help the combat because like there's that delay in when I press the button and then you do the action. So like they have to work on the latency for the control, but really other than that, the control scheme was good. So I'm going to give it 3 chairs.
All right, so that's 2 chairs for controls. And finally, the subjective category, what you're here for. What we're all ultimately here for. Fun! Ben, did you have fun?
Oh, right. Let me see if I can encapsulate and embody what this game is. Procedurally generated, non-card game, choose-your-own-adventure brawler. The game. That's basically what came up. Card games can die in a fire, but hey, this has third-person action thing in it, so color me intrigued. That's racist. Well, other than that might break up the mind-numbing card bits, I was thinking, combat is seriously fuck all boring. There was almost no threat at all. Attack, roll, special, repeat. That's it. But, Vin, I can hear you typing. You can get into the deck, but no. Don't fucking care about that. I tried that. That is going to just shoot me right now. I don't care about card games. I don't. I miss that bit of my nerd card because I discovered
I see what
girls. All right. So, I want to try to put a bow on this for if you like me. And maybe you never get into the whole D&D and that business and that, but you're still completely 100% into this whole, what would you call it, RPG card type? I don't even know what this game's trying to be at this point. All right. You get cards that will give you weapons, magic, chance encounters, giggity, or anything like that, etc. Right. Come on. You collect all these cards doing that. Like, all right, I get all these new weapons, and that's awesome. I'm going to use that during the next dungeon. Then I go through the trouble of, like, equipping and sorting the cards. I want that one, and I want that one. And I'm going to kick ass on this next randomly generated dungeon of card level. All right. And you drop into the first battle. It's like, what? Where are all my weapons? It's like, nope. Those cards only give you the chance to rediscover those fucking weapons again. Fuck that noise. Yeah. Can't say a whole lot. I get it, Brad. I absolutely get it. But if you're like me, this was just, yeah, I'll try it, but the card things, I mean, sitting there with that and balance it, as soon as it turns into inventory management, gone. So for fun, it's not busted, and I'm not going to use a word like it kept me entertained for a solid on, but it didn't cause me to kill myself. So, J-Man.
So, the type of game you're looking for, Ben, is called a deck building game. If you ever played something like Dominion or Netrunner, basically what you do is you complete tasks which give you cards which you feed back into your deck, which you have a chance of drawing, at which point you get the new crazy stuff. But that's really, I would say maybe that's a quarter of the game as a whole. The rest of the game is combats, and it sort of the game's fun value hinges on whether you find this combat engaging or not. And it's not. It really isn't. It's boring. Strike, strike, dodge, strike, strike, dodge. If you see the little green icon over someone's head, you counter it. If you see the red icon over someone's head, get out of the way. And
Dodge.
That's basically it. You do this again and again and again and again. I mean, the map element sort of reminds me of FTL because you got to manage food and health and whatnot. And I do really like the deck building aspect and the ability to sort of influence what sort of feeds into the procedurally generated content is a feature I'd like to see in more of these random games. But, just because of the monotony of the combat, I can really only play this game for about 15-20 minutes at a time, at which point I get so bored. I put the game down, go back, come back the next day, I gotta play some more of this. Hey, this is fun. 15 minutes later, I'm done. So, I mean, like, each of the dungeons is digestible. You can finish them in about 15-20 minutes, which I guess is, like, the strength of the game, because you can sort of pick up and play it. But ultimately, the main feature, the main reason why you play this game isn't that all that great. And so I have to give it 2 chairs for that.
Yeah, saying combat takes inspiration from the latest Batman games it's a pretty damn big understatement. Unfortunately, the aforementioned Batman games have a metric fuck ton of money going into mocap, and the fine, lovely people at Defiant Development do not. In order to maintain some fluidity with the animations, they had to make sort of a compromise by limiting your character's ability to turn on the spot, which, let's say you're going up to 10 or so enemies, you kind of need to be able to turn on the spot, and your character does not fucking do it. And it really does make combat an exercise in guessing where, in the middle of the clusterfuck, is your character going to swing the sword or the axe or whatever, or dodge when you push said key. It manages to be even slightly worse than The Witcher 2's dodge mechanic. Yeah. That aside, and as Jordan mentioned, the deck building mechanic is the strongest of points in this game. It makes the game only semi-procedurally generated, since it's always going to be generated based on the cards that you pick before you go into the dungeon. And in my opinion, it is something that more roguelite type games need. It really introduces that little bit of extra spice into the gameplay that I really enjoy. But yes, combat is definitely the weakest part of the game. Thankfully, like Ven mentioned earlier, it ends quickly, it's not that challenging. And yeah, like I said, it ends quickly, unlike this whole rant of mine. So for me, for the fun, I really, really, really enjoyed this game. I was surprised it kind of came out of the blue. 4 chairs.
And as Jake and the Fat Man before me just already established, the combat is weak overall. Like, cannot stress that enough, so I'm not going to stick on that. I would like to see this game in the future go on a different engine rather than Unity. So I'd like to see it on maybe, say, something UE4. And also more loot, as in like more better items. Like the game has some pretty good rare items that you can get. But again, it works based off of the card system. Once you do the card mechanics, you figure out the card mechanics and what you need, you can pretty much figure out, like, I want this so I can get more coins. And when you get more coins from each event, you will get more cards. And they're lying there, you can have a better chance of getting better cards. So overall total, I had some fun. So I'm going to give it 3 chairs.
All right, and that averages out to 2 chairs for fun and 2 chairs for total. So Magumbo isn't here. I can't rag on him for Retro Booster, but I can say that this was fairly close to being a 3-chair game, in my opinion. It's just combat, blue chunks, and that dragged it down. Close, but no cigar.
And if you're like me, you're not really into this deck building card thing, and you do see it on sale or whatever, and you see the fighting mechanics, that they're super short. And if that's what you're looking for, stay away. And everyone's, even Sandy was like, well, new cards, that's called DLC, son. And that shit's coming. Booster packs heading to you.
Yes, it is. They are actually coming up with DLC to sort of expand the dungeon and the type of cards that you can get. But yeah, for me, it's not often that I get to gush about a Unity game. But this little fucker really came out of the blue. I played it during early access, and I really didn't think much of it. Started playing it for the review this week, and I'm like, oh my fucking shit, I can't put this down. It's awesome. But again, it's awesome if you like the whole roguelite deck building with a little tiny bit of action thrown in there. If you like that particular genre, this is your game. If you don't, if you're like Ven and the deck building doesn't tell you anything, just, stay away. There are cheaper games out there you're probably going to enjoy a lot more.
Coming up next, Door-to-Door Geek wants us to do his job for him. And we talk early access folks who actually give us keys because they listen to Pedro's rant, as difficult as it might be.
Go.
Oh. Well, now it's time for a little Patreon news.
What's that? Never heard of it.
Yeah, tell them all about it.
Patreon is a way that you guys can contribute back to Linux Gamecast, and you guys can donate money. A small amount can help, and what happens is you can go on. There's different tiers that you hit for. So obviously, since I'm here, you've hit Enter the Sandman. So, yeah. So
What's
is
that
our
URL
latest
at Sandman?
Yeah, who is our latest
that was terrible
contributor? I know, right?
I mean, Bukaki Man, our latest Patreon, it should be ashamed that he was given such a terrible intro.
And what does that name hail from, P-Man?
According to Google Translate, that is apparently Finnish.
Sweet.
So yeah, Bushki Vushki. Thank you for your
Not a
donation.
win,
Who did
get a
we
fin.
diss off in Finland?
It's brilliant. We're 18 Patreons, 58.Z7 per Saturday night train wreck, just like you're listening to right now. We got a couple of goals from ranging all the way from just one wet stinky per show, all the way up to you can be on the show if you want. You can actually buy your way. I mean, we have
Yes,
no
you can
morals
literally buy
whatsoever.
your way into the internet.
And we'll do all that. But seriously, value for value and all that. I mean, if you get a chuckle, you get a laugh and all like that. We spend a couple hours every Saturday night making this, and we hope you enjoy it. And you come back and you listen to it. Even if it's, 5 cents or something like that. That just tells us that people are watching. It's not necessarily about the wet stinky as a whole. It's just like, hey, man, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to do this. And we got people in chat room right now, Mr. Mango Chad, he's been throwing wet stinky at us. Empty, throwing wet stinky at us. Free Jack, hopefully, maybe throwing some wet stinky at us. It's all brilliant. So,
But speaking of people who love us, we also have an avenue for people who hate us. And we call it the hate mail section, and Pedro's going to tell you all about it.
Yes. Yes, I am. Because this is the hate mail. Like I say every week, it is my personal favorite time of the week where we get to read what you guys have to say to us. So if you'd like to get in touch with us, give us your 5 cents or your 2 cents or however much amount of money. No, this isn't the Patreon anymore. Just, go to LinuxGameCast.com, fill out the form. We'll be happy to feature your message, unless, of course, you're trying to promote your game in general, be it Kickstarter or an actual finished game. If you are, please do take into consideration that there are 4 of us usually on the show, and we would all very much like to play your game. So make sure to include a link to a build that you currently have of your game running, or if you're already on Steam, say early access, send us 4 keys. We would be delighted if you would send us 4 keys. Pretty please.
Then we probably would actually feature that shit.
Yes. we would gladly.
Or just sell,
But hey.
them on eBay, marked up like 200%. I mean, what?
Yes.
LGC cares, ladies and gentlemen.
This week, Door to Door Geek. Well, you may
Also
know
a
him from Google
Patreon.
Plus.
Also a Patreon.
Yeah.
Also on
he's,
Patreon,
He's,
yes.
the patron.
Yes, he's from the Podnuts. What is that? A network?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Podnuts
let's call it the
Network. He does
Podnuts
Door to Door
Network.
Geek.
Yeah. So he says, hey guys, please give your opinion on this list on the next show. Top 15 best Linux games for 2015. I am going to mention it on Linux for the rest of us and tell people for a actual review of the games, please listen to the Lex LGC. Ow. Okay.
Nope.
West
Meh. Nah.
Edgeworth.
Yeah, I had a bit of a look at the list.
I like me some Dark Mod, Super Tux Cut. We're gonna throw that in there. Tells of maybe not.
XCOM,
Also
Metro Last Light. Hey, Football Manager.
Borderlands.
ZAD, love it. Imagine a world. You've heard my voice on that. Dota 2, man, good on that. Not my cup of chainsaw. Borderlands 2, we're digging that. Our friends at Aspire, XCOM.
XCOM was pretty good.
All right,
Yeah.
Counter-Strike. People just
Football
love it.
Manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Civilization.
It is a good
Redux.
mix of free and paid
Oh,
games. I really think it would benefit from splitting it off into free games versus paid games.
Yes.
Because you can't really
but there is
compare
a
something like
clear,
Reznov
distinct
to,
bias towards
to,
open
like,
source games on that
Civilization.
list. I'm actually all right with that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to kind of pick a fight with you on that. I mean, games are games, man. It doesn't matter if they're open source or commercial. I would like
As
to
long
see
as they're good, I don't mind.
fun game, fun game. I mean, seriously, what do you think, Sandman?
The reason, okay, I think they should be separated because you're looking at amount of money that's being put into a game. So obviously games like XCOM and like Metro Redux, like games like that have like production money thrown at it.
Publishers,
Whereas like, yeah,
Okay, Sandy.
publishers,
Publishers,
Hey,
money.
let me blow that apart. Gone Home
Okay.
versus the Dark Mod.
Dark mod.
But that is an entirely different game. Those are entirely different games.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. One's open source and one's...
my whole deal with two lists is as follows: development methodology. Closed source games, you ship a product that is supposed to be the final product. Open source games are all under continuous development, adding more features, refinements, and so on. You can't really... I don't think it's a fair comparison between the two, but that's just my opinion. Up next...
then again, you have early
Is
access,
blah, blah, blah.
which kind of debunks
Well,
that whole thing.
Apparently, we have fans from the future because the X-Men Bishop has sent us some review keys for his game Isbara.
I
is
so
available
want
on
to call
Linux.
it Isabra.
Isabra.
Come on, brah. Come play my
Come on,
game,
brah.
brah. But no,
Come at me,
Bishop
brah.
throws these visual texty things in our eye pussies. He says, our game is available for Linux. If you've considered us, please let us know, and I will send you a Steam key to try it for review purposes. To which I didn't write back. I just forwarded to P-Man, and he wrote,
Yes, I wrote. Let me get that email so I can actually
summarize
read it, quote it. I basically sent them. There's usually three of us because this was before Mr. Sandman himself joined the show. So there's usually three of us on the show, so if you'd like us to review your game, we would be happy to do so, but we need 3 Steam keys. There's 3 of us on the show, and not to mention that we all have different systems to test the game on. So if you really would like us to review your game, we need at least 3 keys. And lo and behold...
4 lights, Pedro.
There are 4 lights.
Yeah, there are 4 now, so... But they did actually come through, and we got the keys. Sandy, we'll probably get one for Sandy, just, kick the game his way, but...
Maybe. If you're
they
wondering
did
what
good
it
on their
is you've never
promise.
heard about, is Bra is a cross-genre of bullet hell and platformer style. It's a hardcore 2D game. Each level has dual boss fight. Players will need to fully understand the boss patterns. Well, right. It's built on a certain measure. It's available February of the 25th in
Yes.
the year of our noodly appendages, 15.
So that is 3 days away from the recording of this podcast.
It's
Basically.
Nori's
February
birthday.
22nd.
We've been playing it. I've played it a couple times. I think P-Man's played it a bit, and J-Man kind of walked into that, and I said, where's the controller support on Brad? And what were your thoughts?
This thing is in desperate need of controller support because you have like this weird teleport dash mechanic that requires you to draw lines with your mouse in between one point, and then you have to WASD to control the rest of you, and it's a clusterfuck of like flailing and moving your hands around, and you end up just basically doing like the seal clap thing because this thing is in desperate need of a controller.
And the whole platforming thing, maybe, I don't know if they're going to tighten that up before the actual release or not. Probably not. But it feels very floaty. It screams Unity, but I'm actually not sure if it's a Unity game or not. But judging by how floaty your character moves, it's screaming Unity.
Do you want to play it now that we've described it too?
Yeah, I would like to play it, but I want to definitely see controller support. Like 2015, Brad.
I don't know.
Like
I mean,
what?
it seems like it is an interesting mechanic that they have, and
It could be, but
doesn't really translate. Full disclosure on this. I mean, I got to the point where I needed to do some random double moon jump to get to this platform. This is just in the tutorial level. And I was like, I don't care enough. I spent a good 3.5, 4 minutes.
The current state of the controls really do hold this game back. And I hope, well, they have 3 days left, so probably not going to fix it then. But still, check it out. See if it's for you. I don't know if they
yes,
don't
it
have
is Unity. Just looked it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it is. They don't have a demo, so maybe wait for some YouTube players to, throw that up on their channels and watch it. Maybe we'll do something. Probably not. Anyways, Ben, you got final words?
And on that bombshell, cue the music, because you can always find us live at around 9:30 Eastern Standard Moon Time. We do this business, get into chat realm dynamic. It's awesome. Scream at us. We love screaming back at you. I'm Vinstone, cleverly disguised down on the Twitter nets, plus Vinstone on the G pluses.
Yep. The black bar concealing my man boobs reveals my identity as Jordan Svung. You can find me at the Burning Fool on Twitter, plus Jordan Svung on the Google Plus.
And I am Pedro Mateos. I have nothing clever to say about my Lord Third. Therefore, you can find me at Unaccounted4 on Twitter or plus Pedro Mateos on Google Plus.
I'm Sandy Martin. I'm from Root Gamer, and you can get it from my name down here at Ultimagus on the Twitters, and plus Sandy Martin on the Google Pluses. Hi.
So I guess at the end of the day, beautiful party people, zombie demon hordes of the internet, we just need to remind Jordan Kwang to fix his damn G Plus so everything's not private, so I might be able to reshit and get you a bit more old traction.
Perhaps.
No!
Maybe.
Get some internet, Jordan! I've been working on my evil laugh.
Jew.
That's racist.